everybody, please. I'm not too sure how we want to introduce this conversation. I'm sitting here with two human beings. One of them is named Mike. One of them is named Steph. Now, the two of you make music together, but the music that you make together is not reflective of this music that Mike also makes. So birds of a feather flock together. Too many people that are in way too many projects. I don't know exactly how we're going to brand this. We'll just say three human beings having a productive conversation about life, love, and the pursuit of not being an egomaniac.
Yeah, not being an ego. That's perfect.
So, well, hey, internet, make some noise for my new friends, Mike and Steph. Woo! Post effects. Recorded in front of a live studio corner.
Great.
All the Ninja Turtles and stuff. That's our audience, actually.
That's perfect. That's great audience.
All right. So what's the deal here?
Well,
Mike, you hit me up to be on the show.
I did.
You're a musician, a creative endeavor person type of thing, of human.
Yeah,
meat suit on this spinning rock in the galaxy.
Yes, a spinning rock.
All right,
through
so
space.
give me the pitch.
The pitch? Well, I wanted to come here to talk about Northern Gloom because it's a band I just released that vinyl with. Yeah, it looks great on screen there. I like that.
The artwork is
another one too.
Yes, both made by the covers, made by a guy named Tom Easton, who we found on the internet during the darkest parts of COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's a great surrealistic artist. But anyway, Northern Gloom's a trio I play in with two of my best friends, Brian and Corey. They couldn't be here today. So I thought I'd bring another person. I play in two bands with Steph. Steph is one of my favorite guitarists. I get to play in a band called Babel Map with Steph. And also another band called Ghost Horse that she just plays guitars in Babel Map, but in Ghost Horse she sings and tells me what to do.
We do trippy covers.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tight.
That's really fun.
like it kind of, we use a beatboxer instead of live drums. I think it leaves a lot more space for other things. And it's easier show-wise too.
It's amazing though. Jordan,
he's
the
incredible.
beatboxers.
He kind of brings like a whole hip-hop element into it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's almost like trip hop style.
Kind of,
drumming.
Like to do everything from like oldies to Lana Del Rey to
Did like 50s songs and then Lana Del Rey.
Yeah.
So is it like specifically only just like reimagined versions of songs?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
With that project?
Reimagined is a great way to put it.
Cool.
They don't always end up being like, verbatim covers, but it's kind of like a variation of it.
Yeah. There was somebody recently. Do you know Kay Flay? Do you follow Kay Flay at all?
I
don't. She's like a musician, instrumentalist. I can't speak. I'm a podcast host. I can't use my words. But during the like COVID times, she put out an EP that's all like reimagined lo-fi hip hop covers of like The Offspring and No Doubt, I think, and stuff. Like there's like a bunch of like 90s songs. It's really cool just to like hear like that spin on those songs.
He does something like that too. He does a band with his sister.
Yeah, my sister and Angie.
What did she call them? Deep Cuts or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That band's like breakup covers, and we're starting to do originals too because Angie's been a writer, artist for years as well. But like, we had the sibling thing going on. It was really tough to play in a band together without, without jumping down each other's throats, over, it's siblings, right? I don't know if you have any siblings.
I don't have any siblings.
Yeah,
I mean,
it can be difficult.
I've
played in a band with them.
I totally get that. I mean, I play in a band that I've been in for almost a decade now at this point with my best friends that consider them brothers to some degree. And, they're more of a family to me than my family ever was. If we're being a little transparent.
It's definitely a family.
I mean, we were talking about that kind of on the way up here. We had like 3 hours in the car and like, it's amazing how the people you play music with become like, they're literally my family.
Like a chosen
they
family.
Are. Like there's a big part of my family I don't even talk to, but my musicians are like there through it all that I play with. It's great. It's a vulnerable atmosphere. I think you get very close if you stick together, stick it out, get through the hard times.
Do you find that, I mean, with both of you being in so many different projects, is it like an incessant need to create many different things? Or is it also maybe a mix of just like looking for like camaraderie and like family and feeling like you're like missing something? So there's like the community and it's like, well, I like making art, but also I just want to like be around like-minded people. And if we actually accomplish anything or not, it doesn't really matter as long as I'm just trying. That was a big question. I'm sorry.
No, that's great.
That's a great question.
That's an awesome question because I don't know how you feel about it. I think community. I'll just take the reins
We were
here.
just talking about all of this, literally.
Community is like, I think it's so important, especially like I love stuff like this. Like I love watching and listening to podcasts on the internet, but I feel like the internet is so it pulls you back from reality, where like you're having real conversations with people right in front of you, and you kind of have to answer for the things you say immediately. And I love playing with musicians because, like, if you need a good drummer, you might take on a character in your group of people, a new person who has a very strong personality that you weren't prepared for or something. So you're mixing with different people over the artwork. And it's really, I think it's been really great to just play in all these different projects. I play in 6 different bands right now, and everyone's different.
Is that it? 6?
I was helping out with the 7th once in a while, playing guitar, which I did play a show with them in Pittsburgh. It's called Whose Hands Are These? It's Corey's band from Gloom, the bassist there. Will help out with them once in a while, but all these different bands, all different people and mindsets, what they want out of the band. Every band's different.
Yeah. I mean, you really learn a lot about somebody if you're in a creative environment with them, because it takes a lot of emotional energy and vulnerability and transparency and communication to do something successfully with another person. Like there's something that's really intimate about art when it's being made for the right reasons, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're speaking my language.
And if you're doing this with like a bunch of different people, it's not just one group. If you're in 4, 5, 6 groups, like you're seeing how many different people react, and there's not many people that like get to be in that position of like working with that many people creatively.
Yeah.
I think it's
a lot to take on. But it is great if like you genuinely love it.
I don't know how he does it. I think the most I ever was, I think I did 4 bands at once.
Yeah.
Over a chaotic summer. It was great. I loved it. You bounce around from project to project. It kind of keeps it really fresh. You probably, nothing gets old then. I don't know. This man is constantly at a band practice. So
like tomorrow we're driving home tonight, and then tomorrow I'm driving to Downingtown to do vocals on a band I play in, Versus Machine. For that record, I'm going to do some harmonies on that. It's like every day has something for every band.
And he technically just recorded 2 albums, right? In the past,
it was 2 this year, but 3 are going to be released probably either before the end of this year or like early next year too. But I don't know. I just want to record.
It just happens. Art. Like, I have this morning I got up, I shot stuff for a music video for a band that I play in. And then I had a podcast that was here before you 2 were here. And I have somebody else that's going to be here after. And then once you're done, I have to edit a podcast and work on some music because I'm going to be out of town for a couple of days. It's not a big deal. You can get a lot done in a day if you genuinely want to. Yeah.
And if you're having fun, like looking around this room, it's like clearly you surround yourself with stuff you love. And like, I'm sure it's fun to do this.
Environment is fucking everything. Everything, and not just the physical things that you have around you, but the people that you have around you. And like, you really, you can either create your own heaven or hell, not to be like too spiritual, but it's kind of like social media in a way. Like people will be like, oh, Facebook's the fucking worst. It's like, well, you accepted those friend requests. And it's no different in a normal world. Like you choose who is around you and who isn't. Sometimes it could be hard when like people that you maybe you're in bands with or people that you like maybe start to suck over time, and it's kind of hard to like, fuck, like, like you're a decent musician and we're homies, but I'm trying to like, I don't know. There's like conflicts happen, but again, I already talked about transparency and communication and blah, 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 blah. You know,
but people change. People change as they get older. Like, especially it's fun with music to like see, you know, when I was in my early 20s, I definitely had this mindset, I'm going to do this forever. And now I'm years gone by and playing more music than ever now, but I've seen people around me who are more active than me at the time like just disappear from the scene. You know, they don't participate in it at all anymore. But I've found growing with it, I just want to be a part of it more. And I want to meet different factions of it. Like, probably my favorite group of musicians I know is Steel City Death Club. They're Pittsburgh locals here that are, they're just, you know, Giovanni, Orsini, and the Inebriators. Who's it? Water Trash. Yeah. Like, there's all these really cool bands.
Them boys have sat in them chairs.
Yeah. I know Gio has
chairs. And JJ.
It's an honor.
Hi, Giovanni. I hope if you can hear me, Giovanni, I love you guys.
Yeah. Totally.
What kind of music do you play, by the way?
So right now I am in 4 different bands. I have a melodic death metal band. I have a full band hip hop project that leans a little bit more rock.
I've heard that band.
Yes. I have a band that is all like electronica, gothy, spooky sort of stuff. And then I do solo hip hop stuff as well.
That's awesome.
So you're an active person.
Yes,
that's a lot. That's busy. And you do this.
Yeah, and I do this.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to think of I came across you.
All that kind of stuff. Just the internet, I would imagine.
Well, I think it was through, I played in this band called Baby Brains years ago, and I think it was somehow through that. Yeah.
Yeah, you played a show. Did you play at Get Hip?
Yeah, we played there a couple times.
I was the production manager there.
Right on.
For the past 10 years, but I just put in my 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Wow. By the time this comes out, I am no longer there, but good luck and Godspeed to them.
Yes. You're getting hipper.
I've grown past that in my life. That's all. But yeah, I mean,
it's a journey.
A big part of my life has always been just music and creating stuff and talking to people. And I think that you probably can relate with this. I imagine both of you probably can. Like, how are we still in this and doing it all these years later when there are people that have used to do a lot and they kind of tapped out? I think it's just like ultimately like what your end goal is. I think for some people, they have this idea of success that very few people get to taste, but that's like all they want. So once they realize they're not going to get it, they tap out. It's not so much about the process for them. Whereas for like me, it's like, okay, it's great if somebody hears my music and they like it, or somebody wants to buy a t-shirt and things like that. Like, I love that, but it's like all about the struggle of the fucking 3 weeks it took to fucking write this song, or like recording and just like all that other stuff. Just like being with my fucking best friends and doing stuff and hanging out. That's like gives me a reason to live. I share it with people and play shows. That's fun, but it's like not the end goal. Like, the end goal's already happened by the time I'm on stage. And for a lot of people, that's like not it, you know?
I think it's beautiful. Like, I think about what we experienced in 2020. I think Babel Map was definitely my quarantine. As some people said, it was like 7 people around you that that was your social life. You know, once things got a little bit less crazy. Well, we practiced once, like we got the go ahead, like, yeah, you can go and, safely do this with small groups of people, whatever. Of course, it wasn't necessarily safe still, but like working on Babel Map, like, kept us all, I think, sane. And we just we grew so close over that time as a unit and went through all this, crazy stuff. Like, it's so wild to think what we've gone through in the past couple of years. I don't think anybody, like, Bill Gates for years was talking about this stuff, but it's like nobody thought we'd be here. And we experienced it through like creating this dark, crazy art.
It's essentially the new album.
Yeah. We just recorded this album this year that, I don't know when it's going to come out, but
hopefully this year.
Yeah, we're doing mixes right now.
Cool.
So we're listening on different systems and doing that whole dance.
That whole nightmare for everybody just to listen to it on their fucking Spotify on their phone
Isn't
for
that so
30
funny?
seconds and be like, this is cool.
But I'm guilty of that sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But if I can, I hook it up to a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah,
I try to do it justice.
I try to be very aware of the way that I interact with art, only to use it as a guideline for how I should expect other people to interact with my art. Because like I care a lot about music and movies and whatever, but like I only have so much fucking time or energy or mental space to take in new things. Like sometimes people will send me stuff and like a week later, like, did you listen to that thing yet? I'm like, no, I haven't. I'm sorry. But like I actually like want to listen to it. I don't want to just half-heartedly listen to it on my phone. Like,
yeah,
I just give me another week and I'll find the time and I'll sit down with like my nice headphones and really give it the attention it deserves. I don't even want to engage with it otherwise. I really don't.
Well, yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah.
But you know, it's fucked up that we're in this position where it's like, oh, like everything needs to happen now. I need to send you something and you have to react to it immediately. Or like we record this album, we have to put it out immediately. There's like everybody's in this mad rush to do things and it's just art suffers for it. I don't know why everybody's in such a fucking rush.
I think it's partially the classic, like, I think any creative artist has probably thought, I want to make as much shit before I die as I can.
Yeah.
I think about that. But then there's like, with the reactions, I've tried to ignore the internet for that stuff. Like I hate the immediacy of it and the fact that a lot of people, I think, are just focused on, like you say, getting something out into the ether. And I'd rather take the time and make a piece of music that, like, when I'm old one day, like, I'm going to look back on and think of the time where I made it. Like the New Gloom record there, we got snowed in for 4.5 days during a blizzard last January at our studio and made that record. And it was like, it was incredible. It was one of the best. I will remember that experience forever. I ate a lot of mushrooms during that experience and it was fantastic. And cool. Sorry if I don't mean to bring psychedelics up this early, but I do enjoy them. But you know, we took this those 4 days to make it, but then like there was stuff we layered over it over time, and we were trying to really go for this vibe of the blissfulness of like floating through the clouds on an airplane and kind of being above all the shit that was just going on and down here with all of us during, whether it was the pandemic or just the crazy stuff that was going on in society.
We didn't need a pandemic for everything to be fucked.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like now it's just like puts a spotlight to it's like, all right, now here's society's fucked for this reason. This reason. It's like, wow, I never had the time to think about this before.
Yeah.
But, making art is, I think pouring yourself into it is really important, and not just doing it for that immediate, like, touch, from somebody who, you get a little like.
Well, that, that goes back to the shit that I was just talking about. Like people's have different intentions of why they do things.
Yeah.
And, maybe for some people, it's just like, they're doing it for the internet reactions or whatever. Maybe it's genuine to them. So it's not fair for me to say that they're being disingenuous. It just seems like a really silly way to create art. I don't know, but who am I to judge? Who am I to judge?
I just say now, if I don't like something, I probably just don't get it.
Sure. I just want people to be happy. I really don't even.
I'm just glad to go to live shows again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And with us, like, I can honestly say, like, I think everything that just happened was bonus. I literally do just like to play these shows. You get to cut out of work a little early, just like drink a couple of beers and play music.
Yeah.
And then we got signed during the pandemic, which was crazy because it was so depressing, but it was so like, I don't know how I felt when that happened. I thought we were so fucking cool.
But then it's like, great, we can't do a tour or anything.
Yeah, well, we
like,
couldn't do anything.
anything.
We got heckled.
Yeah.
For practicing.
Yeah, we got.
But personally, I never even got COVID
by
until, like, I don't know, last year. So, and none of us did, actually. And all that aside, I'm just glad that, like, I don't know, going to shows,
being with the people,
Yeah.
the community. That's and it's like that's it. You know,
I remember I bought all these tickets to see all these bands before the pandemic happened, and I knew something weird was about to happen because they started getting like canceled. I started getting these emails from whoever, Ticketmaster. I think I had a couple tickets to see. Maybe it was Blood Orange. I think it was a long time ago. It feels like at this point, but it was like Massive Attack and Blood Orange, and I was like super pumped about it, and they all got canceled.
Yeah,
and I mean, the last show I saw before everything went to shit was Beach House, so I was lucky. But a lot of weird music came out of the pandemic too, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I gotta say, like, no one was able to tour. Think about it, for like how long. Now all these bands are touring and they're just fucking killing it. Like,
really unfortunate circumstances, but for me, and I think a lot of people that I know that are creatives, it was like a much needed reset button in a lot of ways. Like it really, every single thing everything that I do artistically completely shifted.
Yeah.
Over the course of that time, you know what I mean?
Definitely changed
like
everything.
Different like restructuring of bands,
changing the whole music
things.
Scene.
Like everything is just like everything changed in like a really good way.
Yeah.
You know, through all of the darkness, we found a little bit of light and just chased that son of a bitch down, holding on to it.
Gotta look for the good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got pretty serious during all that because we did get signed and we were putting out a really cool record that we made.
And it went well,
ourselves.
even with like doing mail orders and stuff, like people just buying the record. Like I wanted to bring you a Babel Map record, but they're sold out.
Well, congrats.
Thank you, internet, for that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Every day I walk on my steps and I stare at this like record, and like he did the album artwork for it, or like the cover.
I did a tomato photo shoot for it.
We had like this
called
we had,
Raw
like, this
Tomato My Heart
theme because Jessica likes to smash tomatoes on herself while she's, you know.
It's a lyric in one of the songs, Raw Tomato My Heart. So then,
like,
we decided to smash tomatoes, eat tomatoes
on
on stage. Lots of tomato stuff going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Babel Map.
That's cool.
I'm grateful for
Tomato play.
all the people in the community who supported us. I mean, people constantly buying records, and we sold out of shirts. I mean,
well,
that's really cool.
I think that's with artwork, like we really put a lot of time and effort into it, and we liked it. We thought it was good. And I think it's that way with most things, whether it's like, comedy or just artwork, any artwork in general. If you like it, I think if you're getting some form of pleasure out of it and you think it's good, there's probably gonna be other people that do too.
Yeah.
And
it's, I don't even know. I mean, I can understand why somebody may not enjoy something that they are still deciding to put out into the world. I just don't see the value in doing something that like you don't believe is like worthy of anybody's time or attention,
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. Music is a conversation between the performer and the entertainer. And if you're talking about things disingenuously, like have you ever talked to like some weirdo that's just like putting on a front and you're just like, I don't want to be around this person. There's people that do that creatively. And it's like, why do I feel weird listening to this music? Oh, probably 'cause it's all fake.
I was just in Nashville. So yes, I know all about that. Now there's some really cool people in Nashville.
Oh, totally.
But yeah. I won't go into that, but I'll leave that alone. But yeah, well, it's like, I was just saying outside, like the internet reminds me of like I guess being disingenuous just reminds me of like moving to LA or something. Everybody you meet, well, I do this, I'm an artist, I do this. And then you're like, oh, that's really cool. So I do. And they're like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. Like a lot of the times those people that say they do things, it's like actually all they do is say they do things. They don't actually do anything. They say they do things.
Yeah.
But, they're waiting for the right opportunity. And
or the big break or whatever.
Yeah, there's something, I don't know, not to be like a small town elitist, but I think there's something about like people that come from smaller music communities where they just tend to be a little bit more genuine. And it's just because it's like, I don't know. There's nobody to even bullshit if you wanted to. in a lot of the communities that
they're all going to know you're full of shit.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure we all know people that and have worked with people that have thought differently of themselves and have decided to make their big moves to places, and maybe they're doing things, maybe they're not. I don't know. Again, what's your intention? I don't know. As long as you're happy, it's none of my business, I guess.
Well, yeah. It's like some people want to be famous, other people want to make art. Some people want to mix of both.
Work early.
Yeah. There we go.
That's all I want.
That's the most hysterically accurate reason for wanting to be in a band I've ever heard.
Beer with my friends.
You know, that is added bonus. Drinking beer with friends.
Just saying.
It's pretty great.
Talking smack. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we practice. Babel Map is practiced every Thursday night for like, I mean, it's been years. But it's
really cool. I was working the door for this band when I saw them, and they were like a 3-piece. And then they were looking for a guitar player, so I hit them up. And then fast forward a couple years later, and we played a show with him.
In Northern Gloom in Harrisburg.
And he was just like, hello, I'd like to join this band, please.
Well, I was in the crowd and my buddy was next to me, and we were watching them play, and he's like, man, this band fucking rules.
We needed a bass player.
I looked at him, I was like, yeah, they do rule, and I'm going to play bass for them. I like said it at this show, and then I joined their band by force. But
I used to wear like a skeleton mask and a cape. Yeah. I had to stop because I just kept tripping on it when I was drunk. So... And I think I sat on it, and it just broke. So yeah, just be drunk playing music in a mask and cape. And Michael was like, "What is this mess?" Like, we needed a bass player.
Yeah, I like to go to theatrics because I grew up like we do a lot of like weird stuff on stage. And
we've talked about tomatoes already.
Yeah. That's just one thing. We did a Halloween show last year. I don't know if you've heard of Tellus 360 in Lancaster.
Yeah, that's in
Lancaster.
Lancaster, yes.
Yeah, Lancaster. we just did the Gloom album release there. But cool. I got to give a shout out to Tellus and Bill Speakman from Tellus. He's a guy who basically curates, the bands that go through, and I think he's one of the owners too. But he's just like he's been such a supportive guy for the locals, because a lot of bigger venues like that, they don't really support the local community. But he's had Babel Map out for what's called Telloween, so their Halloween show. And last year was our first year. We're gonna do it again this year.
Awesome.
But we definitely did some wild shit that definitely.
I was drunk. I remember standing on my amp.
They loved it. Yeah, we had performers with us who danced the whole time. Show. They came and they like had a like black sheer over their face and these big red robes. Mm-hmm. So they looked like people from like the Village or something. But I wanted to join Babel Map because I grew up loving like original. I don't know if you like original Alice Cooper band.
Oh yeah,
like when it was a band before he went solo.
Yeah.
And they did just wild shit. And like they'd go I read their bass player's biography and autobiography, and every rest stop or wherever they would go when they were traveling, they'd find something like a fire extinguisher. They'd be like, how are we going to incorporate this into the show? And it's just like anything could kind of happen. So Babel Map was like the only band I knew in Pennsylvania really that was doing anything. And like the show started with like a ritual. It was wild. So I wanted to join.
It's a little
and I did.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that, earlier I had talked about by the time I step on stage, like the thing that I care about the most is already done. But I do fully believe that if you're going to get people to come out of their house, you should give them a fucking show.
Yeah.
It should be fucking entertaining. So yeah, I know that. I mean, a lot of it sometimes depends on the style of music. Some theatrics may not be appropriate for every kind of music, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
But if you can make it work, I think it's fucking awesome. I love doing that stuff. I mean, my like hip hop rock band, Normal Creatures, we do fucking, lights, projectors, costume changes, the whole fucking 9 yards. We've had like people come out on stage and like do dancing things and like weird like candle, like it's very similar like type like weird spooky shit with like weird stuff tied in and like making it this whole experience. But it's like, I don't know. Awesome. I love the idea of
makes it memorable too.
Just giving people a show.
Yeah.
I mean, like tying back to stuff like Alice Cooper or fucking like Kiss, or now bands like Ghost and things like that. People were like, I don't get Ghost. I'm like, I guess you just don't know how to have fun. You're taking it too seriously.
Yeah. And that's just
it's fun operatic rock and roll meant for the big stage. It's great.
Yeah.
But it's not for everyone.
Well, yeah. If you take anything too seriously like that, it's like it's like it's art. We're having fun here. I mean, maybe not. It's not always, about having fun. I guess maybe it's like introspective stuff. But either way, that stuff makes it like larger than life, I think, and which makes it really cool. My first show ever was Kiss in 1996. I was 6.
Sure,
not even 6 yet, and my dad took me because I was obsessed with Kiss. I pulled a Kiss record off his. He had 1,000 CDs. He was one of those people, and I found that record and I was obsessed with them. And then he took me to see them, and they went on their reunion tour. They put all the makeup on, and it blew my mind. It was incredible. Gene Simmons came right out over top of us on the platform and pointed at me and my sister, because we were I was 6, she was 7 or 8, whatever. And it was just amazing. It blew my mind. Actually, the Deftones were technically my first concert because they opened that show, which is a really weird bill.
Wow.
They got
Deftones
booed.
and Kiss.
They got booed.
Yeah.
It was in Philly too, so Philly definitely wasn't having that yet.
Yeah, the Philly Kiss army not quite ready for Deftones.
No, dude, they were mean.
That's hysterical. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah, it was a bad mashup. You can actually I've searched clips from that tour just to see if I remembered it correctly, and the Deftones were definitely booed.
They got booed.
Yeah.
See, personally, I would enjoy both of those things.
Well, I thought they were cool, but my parents were like, "Nah,
that is quite a combo."
They were like, "You don't like that." Now full circle. The last show I bought tickets for before the pandemic was the Deftones and Gojira, and that I just finally went to that show in, I think it was this May, and it was full circle pandemic moment. I was finally, I'm getting to see this show. It's been canceled 4 times.
Yeah.
But I do love the Deftones.
Yeah.
Segue to my love of the Deftones.
Yeah. It seems like both of you have a pretty eclectic taste in music, which isn't surprising by any means. I feel like anybody that is a musician truly is going to... What?
Well, that's because you're a robot.
I activated something on my robot phone. But anybody that is a musician should have a big interest in a lot of different stuff. And also it explains why both of you are in 18 different bands, because I don't know. I guess in a perfect world, I'd be able to find a way to make it all fit in one, but it's kind of like a buffet. You can't put it all on the same plate. Some things just don't work. I mean, anything's possible in the world of art, right? Well, don't put yourself in a box, but I guess some things probably shouldn't touch.
Well, we were just talking about the Beach Boys the other day, how we both love Beach Boys, and I can't cover Beach Boys in that band. That'd be really weird. Babel Map would be even weirder if we covered Beach Boys. It would. I don't think that would go over well at all. But we're probably going to cover a Beach Boys song.
Beach Boys with a beatbox. I'm about
maybe it could work.
I've been working on.
We're gonna try it.
You know the Cars, that band from the 80s.
Yeah,
I want to do some of that. I think.
Drive.
Yeah, I learned it.
Yeah.
But we can't play that with our normal.
I like
bands,
covers because it's
start a new band.
Yeah, you just have to. The song's already there for you.
Yeah,
you just gotta learn it.
I gotta do the hard part.
Yeah,
just gotta learn how to play it.
Well, I mean, sometimes it can be really interesting to learn and perform covers because you start to dissect how a song is written, and it might change your perspective on your songwriting approach.
Yeah.
I remember me and an old roommate, for no reason, we would just fuck around and try to learn songs and play stuff. And we tried to do a cover of Fiona Apple's Criminal, and deconstructing that song. There is a lot going on in that track.
Fiona
Literally
Apple's amazing.
Trying to figure out every little instrument and just recreate it in a DAW and playing stuff and what does that sound? How do you think they did that? And not even close. There's no fucking way. It was intense. It was one of the most musically intimidating things I've ever done in my life, is try to deconstruct and re-record that song.
That's great though. You probably learned a lot.
Oh,
from
totally.
doing that.
Totally.
That album that whole album is great.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
She's very talented.
And absolutely.
Whoever her band was very talented.
Yeah, absolutely.
She plays the piano, doesn't she, on all those? She's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, really, really cool. And then there's like, other songs that I've covered over time. And it's just like, you just think about things differently.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun when like something like the Fiona Apple shit happens because you're like, whoa, this is so intense. But then the flip will happen where there's something that seems like it's a really complex song, but then you realize, oh, it's not. And sometimes you can make something sound really intricate with like not a whole lot, and it could change the way that you think about things moving forward, which has been like huge, especially playing in like heavy metal bands where it's so easy to just overcompensate with like too many notes and time changes and things like that. It's not necessary. It's like, I think about like, it's like, I understand that we're trying to do a lot because there's this like weird flashiness to a lot of heavy metal where it's like, you don't have like the on stage theatrics all the time, but it's like musical theatrics. And there's a beauty to that. But, and you think about some of my like favorite metal songs that seem totally crazy. If you try to play them, you're like, oh, it's actually not that wild. It's just the first time I heard this, I was 6 years old and I didn't understand how anything works. And like the nostalgia has stuck with me that I still hold this at a very high regard, even though musically it's not that technically complicated. But the thing that is interesting about it is the fact that somebody came up with it, writing the song. Yeah. And like, it's a lot different than like just learning something somebody else played and then talking shit on it. Like when people are like, fuck Nirvana. I'm like, you write that many good rock songs that can resonate with millions of people. Oh my God, yeah. It blows. It's
that
like,
one drives me nuts.
The songs are simple, yes, but like to be able to connect with that many people, like literally, like it sounds tacky to be like the voice of a generation, but in his case, kind of was.
Every musician who plays rock and roll wishes they were Nirvana. I'm sorry. Anybody that says like, oh, they suck or whatever, it's like you would love to experience what they experienced.
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe not, because like, what Kurt was feeling was authentic, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I just like fucking like listen to Nevermind from front to back, and it's just like
it's incredible.
I can't songwrite either, so I mean,
it's such a good record, and the funny thing is, it's just like there was no like precedence before that, like that was the blueprint for something great. And I'm sure you can get all nuanced about the Seattle scene and bands that were doing stuff like that before and things like that. It's like, none of those bands were writing like songs that well constructed. Sure, there's maybe bands that were socially cooler, but like when it came to songwriting, Nirvana figured something out that a lot of people didn't, which is really cool.
I spend so much time in Northern Gloom talking with my bandmates about Pearl Jam. I don't talk about Pearl Jam, but they love Pearl Jam. And I just think like, I'll take Nirvana. If we're going to go that route, I'll take Nirvana every day, but like they love Pearl Jam, whatever. But I hear so many people talk smack on Nirvana, but not Pearl Jam. And that to me is wrong. I think Nirvana gets a lot of hate for no reason.
I think Nirvana gets hate just because like they're in the pop culture zeitgeist a little bit more, like,
for sure.
You can't buy a Pearl Jam t-shirt at Walmart, I don't think, but you could buy a Nirvana t-shirt at Walmart. So people see it around. And also
Pink Floyd is
I think that like a lot of the times too, like the whole like dead rock star Kurt Cobain worship idolizing thing, I think can rub some people the wrong way, which I totally get. I mean, when I was fucking, I loved Nirvana when I was fucking, when Nevermind came out and In Utero, and then they stopped putting out music because things happen. And then I get older and I'm like, well, now I like heavier music or weirder music. You know what I mean? Like I'm listening to fucking anything from Dillinger Escape Plan to fucking Bjork to The Prodigy or whatever, like all kinds of just chaos. Right. But in my later years, after I started like making a music and starting to like listen to music for different reasons, like going back and listening to Nirvana again and being like, oh, cool. But when I was like fucking 15, I was like, fuck Kurt Cobain, being like Spencer's Gifts at the mall. You see the t-shirts. I'm like, fuck Nirvana. The songs are, but I didn't.
I like how simple their music is.
Yeah. But I just wasn't my brain was just thinking about something different. I never really tried to write a song. So it wasn't like I didn't understand the nuance of it. But you can't expect everybody to understand that nuance.
No, well, I mean, I experienced almost the same exact thing with Pink Floyd because they were at JCPenney's. You could see their t-shirts there, and all these kids who I knew didn't listen to Pink Floyd wore Pink Floyd t-shirts. Sure. Kind of like when I see people wearing AC/DC
was
t-shirts.
Was it Dark Side
now.
of the Moon? Definitely, probably.
Yeah, it was Dark Side of the Moon, and like I never listened to them until I was in. It's crazy until I was into my mid-20s. I finally listened to The Wall, and it like I listened to that record, and it made me feel so many feelings I never felt before. I was like, this is why Pink Floyd's cool.
Oh, totally.
Like,
yeah. It's insane. Like, I mean, it's insane now, but like, if you like, it's like the songs are so cool. There's nothing else in the world that sounds like that record, which is really rad. Like from like a songwriting perspective and just like a production perspective. Like it's
amazing.
Like what version of Pro Tools did they record The Wall on? They did it.
Like they were doing that shit with tape. That must have been so annoying. Like all the different cuts.
Reverb then? They probably did, I guess, right?
Digital reverb, maybe
like through like some sort of like a interface or pedal or something, but it wasn't. Yeah,
I think plate reverb was like the thing back then.
I don't know. It's like
there's like
timeless.
There's so much fun stuff. I remember watching an interview with Hall & Oates talking about when they were like recording their early stuff, and they would like they hated the way like how dry drum machines were. So they would like literally run them through guitar cabs and mic them to get like the room resonance on the drums. That's what they had to do. Now you think about it, it's like, well, it's all fucking MIDI notes and plugins and shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, they were like, that's what they were doing.
That's why it's amazing what they accomplished. We have it easy, I think.
Gary Newman was the first to put like synthesizers through guitar amps and guitar effects, like listening to that stuff is wild. His record, Pleasure Principle, which is like the one with like cars on it.
Yeah.
That record, when I first heard that, I was just blown away at like how did that group of people think to do what they were doing? Because it's all this synthesizers. On that record, there's no guitar, but live bass, live drums, and it's like it sounds like a band, but it's also like from a different planet.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
It's fun to like go back and there was so much stuff that, like, I started listening to Pink Floyd, I suppose, a little bit late. I guess I still wouldn't say I necessarily listened to Pink Floyd, but very much the same, like just writing it off. But as I got older, hearing stuff and then just thinking about it from a songwriting and a production perspective, I'm just like, wow, like this is really fucking cool.
But what they discuss on it is like,
yeah, it's a very socially heavy record for sure.
Heavy as fuck.
Yeah,
I watched that on mushrooms.
Yeah, there's a reason why those artists.
Have you ever seen the movie?
No.
Oh yeah, you should watch it. It's pretty rad.
See the movie.
Yeah,
it's insane.
There's a reason why those artists hold the weight that they do. Genuinely.
Yeah.
The artist that I have the biggest trouble dissecting that is like known as one of the greats is Bob Dylan. But I'm never
gonna same.
I'm never gonna be like fuck Bob Dylan, but I don't know. It just doesn't. It's not for me. I don't know what it is.
You better hope nobody watches this because we're gonna get shit on.
No, I've definitely
Bob Dylan fans will shit on you.
I mean, I have had good discussions about Bob Dylan with people that like Bob Dylan on this show. It's come up before. It's just like, yeah, I just don't. I don't know.
I just don't get it.
No, I think I get it. I just really don't like it.
I get his Nashville stuff. Like when we were in Nashville with Gloom, we were listening to the Nashville Skyline era stuff, and I think that's incredible. Like Nashville Skyline, was it Highway 66, and then Blonde on Blonde. I think those are his three Nashville ones. I love all those records, but everything else to me is just, I don't know. Like I get it. It's like socially whatever.
Sure.
But if I want to hear a band that's talking about important social things that we need to talk about, but giving it to me in a very melodic way, it's Killing Joke every time. I just think they said way more socially important things than any other band that decided to go down that route, in my humble opinion. Bob Dylan is like too much. Hey, whatever. It sounds like your uncle, your drunk uncle.
Yeah, I think that there's like my issue. My biggest issue with Bob Dylan is that there's like I know it's unintentional, but his vocal delivery is whimsical.
Yeah.
And it's like unintentionally whimsical, and it just sounds like, I don't know. I think that I haven't read a lot of his words, but I'm aware of, some of the more popular things. I'm like, sure, this guy can really put words to paper in a very eloquent way.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't know how much really resonates with me. But obviously, it's connected with people. I can't sit here and be like, well, people just don't understand Nirvana, and then be like, fuck the Bob Dylan fans, right? That'd just be so hypocritical.
Again, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Uh-huh.
And that's fine. I think that's a perfectly okay answer. Is I just don't get it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of music out today, like modern stuff, that I don't really get, and it's fine.
Sure.
It's fun. Like I think it's cool that other people like it, but like one of the things I love about Pittsburgh is I've come down here with multiple different bands, multiple different styles, and the college kids love rock and roll in any of its forms, but they also, love all sorts of stuff. But like, it's been really fun, really refreshing going to like seeing people are like between 18 and like 24, and they're like all about going to rock shows.
Mm-hmm.
I know plenty of people are like around 30 and they're like staying home and watching Netflix.
Yeah.
And, listening to Celine Dion.
Yeah, no, Pittsburgh is always, I think it really just comes from that, again, small town. There's nobody to even bullshit if you want to. So you really got to like, just most people, it's not even they're going out of their way to perform. It's just like something that's natural in the air. It's just like good live music and like cool little clubs. And there's no like, there's definitely some pretentious things here and there. It's, what are you going to do? It's art.
Yeah.
But for the most part, over the years that I've played in bands and like even playing in bands that play in places out of town, just like seeing a lot of different bands and a lot of different styles and a lot of different cities, it's always been pretty like cool to come home and play shows again, because the people do interact in their own way here that you don't always see in other places. And I don't even think it has anything to do with the fact that like, oh, maybe people here might actually know who we are versus like Lansing, Michigan or something. Right. But I don't know. It's just like a different vibe. Like sometimes you go to some places and it just feels like, it's, you'll go to a show and it seems like nobody wants to be there. Like people were there to see their one band.
Yep.
Or like people were there to play their set and leave. And here it's like people will come early, stay late. The bands are all hanging out. It's like a different environment.
It's you want to be there.
Yeah.
Every time I played a show here, I don't want to leave really until I make the mistake of smoking pot. And then I'm like, I gotta get out of here right now. Take me home.
Like, I honestly think it's just rude. It's maybe not rude, but shouldn't leave a show if you're playing it. I'd always
if you're playing
the other musicians like out. I don't know. It's part of the fun of it too. You play and then you can enjoy the show.
Yeah. I mean, it really. Nowadays it really depends on the show for me. For the most part, if it's like an all day fest type of thing, I may not be hanging out all day.
Yeah.
But like if it's just like a simple 2, 3, 4 band bill, then you got to be hanging out.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times now, like if you're fucking out of town, it's like, well, what else are you going to do? Just hang out. If you want to see the fucking sights, better leave early, like get there, leave a day early or something if you can. Yeah. But I don't know. I've never been, I guess I understand like everybody's trying to get so much done in a day. We were talking about that before, I guess.
Yeah.
But I feel like most of the people that like bands like that are like, leaving a set early, it's probably not because they're like, well, we got to get back to the space because we're feeling real inspired to write more. It's probably just like, we want to like fuck off, or we don't want to be here. I don't know.
I played in a band with somebody who'd go outside and smoke cigarettes during the other bands, which made me mad every time, made the drummer mad too. But it's like, we're not dealing with professionals here.
Sure.
It's like we're dealing with everybody.
It's hard,
everybody.
I when I'm playing shows, like I want to like, try to watch some of the other bands, but also like part of me is there to try to like socialize and to network a bit. So it's like, how do you balance all this stuff?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think a lot of the times we end up playing with a friend anyway. So it's honestly usually just even more reason to watch.
Yeah, totally.
That's pretty. Like I think he played one not too long ago where he played in all 3. So that was kind of crazy.
That was fun. I played with. I'll give To Be Frank a shout out here. This band from Philadelphia, which has like 2 of the most talented musicians I know. One's from Central PA, like Harrisburg area, where I'm from, and the other's from like Lancaster County.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Kerwin is the guy who writes the music, and then Adam Stair. Have you ever heard Adam Stair?
Mm-mm.
He's a solo artist, but he also plays guitar with a guy called Grammatic, who's like an EDM, really popular dude. But they play in this little band called To Be Frank, and they just write these incredible songs. Josh mainly writes them, but he was coming to play in Harrisburg, and his bass player got COVID. So he hit me up the day before and was like, "Can you play bass at this show?" So I had to learn all his songs that day, and then we played.
Yeah,
and it was really fun because I played with you.
You just never left the stage.
Honestly. Yeah, I stayed on stage all night, and even he sang a song that was solo, no band, and I was like, "I'm staying on stage." So I just sat on stage. I was like, "I'm not getting off all night." So he sang the song to me, so it was good. But
I think I just naturally end up watching the whole thing anyway.
Yeah, it's fun to watch the other bands.
Yeah, I always learn something from. I like watching people play as a band,
even if something's not good.
Yeah,
fun stuff.
Well, it fucking doesn't matter. I don't think I'm great, so I mean, I'm just happy to be there.
You downplay yourself very much. Steph is the GOAT in Harrisburg.
That's not true.
Best guitarist in Harrisburg.
I think
fact.
I think that there's I don't know, part of me, like when I am watching other bands play, like I treat it, maybe this isn't the healthiest way to treat it, but I treat it as though like I'm in class. Like there is something to learn from a great performance and maybe a not so great performance, because it's good to have a list of things that you should and shouldn't do, or things that you should just think about differently. Even like the smallest thing in the world of like, oh, I never thought about like placing the musicians in this way. Like, there's a lot of people that do like that, you know, like the traditional band format, but I don't think that works or makes sense for everybody.
No.
You know, it's like, why does the drum kit always have to be in the center? It really doesn't, especially if you're in a bigger room and they're going to mic it.
It doesn't have to be. I wanted to actually do the setup with Gloom that Beach House does. We haven't done it because the other guys don't want to do it, but it's like drummer on the far right, vocals in the middle, and then
that's it.
Guitar in the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick.
And like, they mostly play in the dark. Different. I don't know how they do it. Seriously.
Well, I think crazy. That a lot of times, like, not everybody rehearses in a space that's like a live lineup. You know, everybody's kind of usually in like a more claustrophobic setup where like things are set up in a way so everybody can hear each other good in a small space. Yeah. It's like, why not just still have that setup on a stage?
Yeah.
And just mic around it so everybody can hear themselves comfortably on stage. And I don't know, it's a different setup. I hate the like everything. I hate like there's all of these things that we've been conditioned to think that we need to do as bands, like even outside of like the live stage performance, where it's like, especially as an underground band, everybody's like, oh, we need a music video and we need promotional photos and we need, it's like, do we really? Like a lot of these people, it's like, sure, to some degree, if you want to do it, do it. But like, don't beat yourself up over it, or just make like something that's half-assed because you feel like you need to do it.
That's the thing. I can't vibe with. It's like anytime we've ever made something with any group I'm in, it's been because we want to just do it because we have an idea. And it's like, you know, for Gloom, our buddy Clint wanted to make this video. He had this short film idea that he'd been pitching to me for a while about this girl who basically gets fired. She wants to, you know, take some control over her life. So she decides to rob a jewelry store. But like the video is not focused on the robbery; it's focused on her dog's perspective of the robbery, and like, and it's just like this crazy, you know, idea he brought our way, and like I just wanted to make it because I was like, I want to watch it. Like it sounds like fun, you know. So, and he had been talking about it for a while, so I like doing stuff like that. But when you're like, we need a music video, we need to look super cool, you know, like we need to let people know that we're really cool.
It's for who? For what? You know, like I was thinking about this really because so my metal band that I play in Greywalker, you know, we, over the course of the pandemic and everything, our guitar player left the band, our bass player moved to guitar, and then we got a new bass player. So we have like a different lineup and different music, and there's like no actual like good footage of us, just, you know, like a cute little video piece, right? Of us just looking tough and scary or whatever metal bands are supposed to do. But I'm like, why? It's like, I understand in my brain why we need this. Like, I want to have this just to document the current version of this band. But also it's like, I don't care about just like making all of these fucking 40-year-olds go to a fucking warehouse to film some black and white bullshit music video, you know? But like, so it's like, yeah, just trying to find like the right intention. It's like, I'd rather wait until there's like a good intention to do this rather than just doing it because I feel obligated to, in case like, oh, like if somebody emails us, we're trying to get on a show, like it's really going to fucking matter if my fucking digital press kit has a video that's a year old with a different person in it. Nobody fucking's paying attention to that. They're probably not even going to watch it. They're just going to open up the press kit, see how many monthly listeners we have on Spotify, and then decide if they want to book us or not from that. They won't even push play.
Yeah.
My buddy.
That was a bit of a rant. Sorry.
No, I'm with you. It was so funny. Like going back to the Nashville thing, my buddy in this band, this Columbus band, which is one of my favorite bands on the planet. It's called Tetanus. I don't know if you heard of Tetanus, but they're really cool. They're like Jay Reatard. Have you ever heard Jay Reatard? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So R.I.P. By the way, but the one dude in that band books for this venue. He's like, these Nashville people were like, you know, hit me up and they want to send me their EPK and stuff. He's like, I don't want to do all that. Just like send me your music and like, you know, let's talk. Let's be friends or whatever. It's like, it doesn't have to be like, yeah, I went to music school and all the shit I learned there was so stupid. So stupid because we'd study all this shit about the music business. So you have to do this. You got to have your digital press kit, your EPK. You got to have a great band name. You got to know how to move around on stage, do all that. But really in the end, what you need is big break, which is luck. I was like, why'd we just learn all the other shit? Like, if in the end it's just about luck, like why?
Yeah,
it sounds like you're trying to steal my money.
When we go back to talking about like watching other bands play, we both agree that I don't care if a band's good or bad. Like, I'm always happy to see new artists and see what's going on. But in like a way, I feel like if a band is good enough, like if you're just good at what you're good on, just good songs, and you're playing them with the good fucking intention, somebody that would want to leave is still gonna watch you if it's that fucking good. Yeah. And so there's a big part of just like how much time you might waste being bogged down by all the bullshit that you forget to write a good song. There's so many bands that I know that are like, whether they realize it or not, kind of guilty of that. It's just like, just don't worry about the other bullshit. Just make good fucking songs and learn how to play them live reasonably decent.
I agree with you. I'm definitely drawn to whatever music is going on. No matter where I'm at, I can't, like, even if it's just like radio, or it's what I'm focusing on. Yeah. So if when we left his show the other night, we walked out into the other room and immediately there was just more music playing. I'm definitely guilty of stopping to check it out. If I like it, I won't leave until I have to. Yeah,
so there's a venue that's like right down the street, Mr. Small's Theater. And they have so they have like there's like two venues in there, right? So there's the theater room, which it's like this old church. Like, I don't know how many fucking people you can fit in there, probably like 1,500 people. Big space. And then on the second floor, they have the Funhouse venue, which is like a little 200 cap room. And a lot of the times there will be like a bigger show going on downstairs. And then they start a show in the Funhouse whenever, like, close to the time of the first show ending. And it's like free. Like, if you still want to hang out and watch like local bands, you could go upstairs and watch bands. And it's cool because sometimes a lot of people will go up there and just, you know, keep on drinking at the bar up there and just get to see some cool local music it's like, I would much rather venues do that than like having them, you know, play for 10 minutes as the opening band downstairs to like people that don't really care. Like, if you have the capacity to do that, it's like, 100 people walk upstairs, they're still fucking drinking, and some bands actually get to play for people that are curious about new music. Yeah.
Did they charge a cover?
No.
Yeah, so they probably just pay the band a guarantee and just have them play music. I think that's the way to do it.
That's kind of what Tellus does.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah,
it's just right there at the entrance, so everybody just
Yeah.
you immediately have to walk through there in order to get to the bar, even. So
Yeah, people walking, you get randos coming in.
Yeah.
And I like
it's cool though. People walk by and take videos of you, and you're like, "Oh, you
When
think
we
I'm
played-
cool? That's so sweet.
Mhm.
Thank you." Like, yeah,
It's great. When we played on Halloween, we were like looking at people
It was
outside
fun.
because like you can see
Uh-huh.
right into the stage. So we were
Yeah.
it was sold
Engaging
out too.
people.
So like, some people couldn't get in. You had
Oh,
to
yeah.
purchase tickets, I think. So there were
Yeah.
people just watching us.
Last time I was in that area,
It's funny.
I had a show at Phantom Power.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a cool room.
Yeah, I played that.
Yeah.
Gloom.
Yeah.
It's a cool space. That's right where I went to college. I went to Millersville there.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's a
was
weird
not
little
there.
town. Yeah, I know
it's
that
very
Phantom
weird.
Power was like relatively new when I was there, it seemed.
Yeah, it's a fun space. I mean, they've had a lot of cool shows. Actually, they were supposed to have a show there that ended up not coming through, but it was the Chameleons. Have you ever heard of the Chameleons?
No.
They're a great band. But they've been getting like some bigger stuff. Like that's a classic post-punk band from the 80s.
Oh,
They
I know
rule.
the Chameleons. I was thinking of a new band. Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
Chameleons.
know
rule.
the old Chameleons. I wasn't aware that they were
The
still
old
performing.
yeah, well, it's
Or they're
it's Mark,
stopped. Yeah,
the-
I don't
the lead
know.
singer.
Yeah.
I hit him up. That was one of the last shows. I got to photograph the Chameleons at a auto bar in Baltimore. Do you know that? That's
Yeah.
I feel like just so many people know that. It's been around a while.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I got to shoot him and I got to meet Mark Burgess and I walked in to the venue before it and he was just there was a guy from the Chameleons I've watched on YouTube a million times, just like on his phone, on Instagram. I was like, "Hi, Mark."
Sure.
Hi, and yeah, fucked
Uh-huh.
up. I'm terrible around people I like
yeah.
admire. I can't talk to them.
Yeah, there was
It's no good.
there's
Starstruck.
fucking
Yeah.
like God, like 15 plus years ago, Phantomos played here, which I don't know if you're familiar with them, but
Phantomos?
It's do you know Mike Patton? He's like
Mike Patton.
Yeah, the Faith No More guy. Yeah. So it was a
Yeah.
project that Mike Patton had with Buzzo from Melvins and Dave
Wow.
Lombardo, the drummer from Slayer, and Trevor Dunn, who I think was also in Mr. Bungle with Mike Patton or Tomahawk or he's in one of those
I
bands.
liked Peeping Tom.
Yeah.
That was a
Okay.
good
Yeah, that was a
project.
great record, right?
Yeah.
So Dave Lombardo, the drummer from Slayer, ended up meeting just at like the little toy store that was down the street from the venue. Like before the show, he's just like in there looking at lunchboxes. You know, the guy from one of the biggest heavy metal bands in the world is just like, you know, looking at fucking like some David Hasselhoff Knight Rider lunchbox or something. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's again, they're just fucking people.
great.
Like, what do you expect? He's just walking
He
around before
likes
the
David
gig.
Hasselhoff.
Yeah,
you
you know,
like
maybe
the rest of us.
A lot of those fucking
I like David Hasselhoff.
Hey, yeah, who doesn't? But yeah, it's fun to just like you put this like it's really easy to get this idea in your head of somebody, and then like you finally then they're there. They're always just there. Fucking Annie Clark St. Vincent.
Oh man.
Fucking just in a coffee shop downtown here the night that they were playing at Stage AE. And like I used to go to that coffee shop every fucking day. And she's just in there with like, you know, her drink, reading her newspaper, and I'm just like, what the fuck do I do here? There's nobody else in the shop. It's so low key. And I was like, I'm glad she's here. I have nothing positive to add to this conversation. I'm just going to let her read her newspaper and enjoy her coffee. And I'll see you at the show. I didn't say a fucking word to her.
No.
Just let them be in that moment.
Well, it's like, what do you say? Like I had another chance with Dennis Lixon. Do you know who that is? He's a singer for the band Refused.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they're like one of my favorite bands ever. And I saw his side project, Invasion is what they were called. I saw him in Philly at Milk Boy, which is like a tiny little venue. And I get to the venue, I look up to the top of the stairs. I'm like, Dennis Lixon is at the top of the steps. One of my favorite singers ever. Top of the steps there. I'm just going to walk up, be cool, walk past him, say hi. You know, it'd be fine. I got to the top of the steps. I saw him. I was like, I cannot say hi to him yet. So finally, like his band plays and they were great and everything's a great show. And I went to talk to him. I was like, hey man, so like I found you guys through Refused. I love Refused. You guys are great, but Invasion's great too. And he was like, okay. He's like, you want a picture? I was like, totally. Let's just get this over. And I was like, fuck, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just like, man, I wish I could be cool in moments like that, but whatever.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I would just rather say nothing.
Yeah,
sometimes you know.
See, that's the move. That's the power move.
I think
say
that,
nothing.
Like, when I was like younger, it was different. But now that I've been like, you know, I've played in bands and been on the road, and I know not even to the degree of what somebody like Annie Clark goes through, but just having that time, just being away from everything, it's valuable.
Enjoying a coffee spot in a city that maybe you haven't been to that coffee spot before, just like being.
But also, as an artist, I understand it's nice to sometimes to be like recognized, but maybe it gets annoying after some point. I would like to think that it doesn't, no matter how big you are. It's probably nice to be like, hey, I like your stuff.
I wonder. No.
You know, I hate the thought of there ever being a day where like I'm so fucking famous that if somebody says hi to me, it annoys me.
Yeah.
That seems like terrible.
It's a sad thought.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some people like in Harrisburg and Lancaster come out like almost regardless what band's playing that were involved in. And like I had one day, this guy came up to me. He's like, Michael. I was like, it's like, what?
Michael?
He's like, you're in Northern Gloom and Babel Map. I was like, totally. What's up? I like you already. But yeah,
I get Babel Mapped a lot.
Yeah, Babel Mapped.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Yeah, I mean, it's great.
It's cool to know that like people.
I think it's flattering.
Oh yeah, it's super flattering.
And even if they can't remember what Babel Map, the word, like, they just recognize me from playing music at some point. That's flattering in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to play in a band with you because I saw you playing around town for years. I was like, she rips. Want to play in a band with Steph?
I love just playing open mics still, even too. Yeah. Just like going back to what you were saying much earlier about intention. I'm perfectly happy recording an album or just doing a low-key open mic and getting kind of drunk.
Totally.
I'm here for all of it.
Yeah, like yesterday, I played this set. It was like this house party for this dude plays in this band around here. I don't really know him all that well. I've never seen his band play, but he saw me do a solo set a month or two ago and asked me if I'd play this house party. I didn't know any of the fucking bands out there. There was really nobody there. It was basically just in a backyard with like a PA that was actually a lot nicer of a PA than it should be for a backyard. So respect. But
I would do that.
And it was just like weird, but also it was like cool to do it. It was it's been a long time since I've played. It was like, it felt kind of fun to feel uncomfortable again on stage. It's been a long time since like none of these fucking people know who I am. They could give two shits less. It's very low stakes, but I somehow feel way more pressure about this than like any other bigger gig that I've played recently. But it was fun. It was fun to engage with that feeling again. Yeah. And I imagine very similar, like an open mic type feeling.
Yeah. I think it's exhilarating playing for no one or playing for a ton of people, even still. Open mics is how I started playing music. And that's how you meet so many people, actually, I think. Open mics are great. There's like one of everything. Somebody's doing covers, probably a couple people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
open mics at their best are all about fostering community.
Yeah.
And networking and things like that.
Yeah. The one at Telus, I mean, I love because they usually have like a back line. Not every place has that. So it's like, people just jump up and play. The dude who's running it'll jump up and play. Like, it's really chill.
Well, they have like a different local artist host every month there, which I think is really cool. Yeah, because it's like different people, you know, different styles of music. Corey from Northern Gloom, I think, is doing September there.
Oh, September. That's cool.
I can't. It's either September or August, but I should pay attention more. But he yeah, I think, but that's just a great thing for the local community too, to just, you know, give people different artists to mingle with. Maybe, you know, somebody doesn't vibe with the host, you know, who's doing the current month, like can't get up and jam with them or something, but maybe next month you can. Yeah. I think it's empowering, you know, maybe it will help other people start bands.
I love a good open mic for that reason. I mean, I met so many. Yeah. Actually, Jordan, he beatboxes. I met him at an open mic.
That's rad.
Yeah, it was great.
There's a band that plays out of Pittsburgh called Old Game that's really, really good. Just like super like emotive, punishing, like post indie rock sort of stuff, but like crazy emotive. They have like two vocalists, guy and girl, and like they like interplay a lot, and it's just like so like emotional, just like really. But the two of them met just doing open mics and stuff like that. And then they started like writing songs together. And it's just like rad just to like these two people are just like consistently crushing this open mic, decide to get together and just write fucking beautiful music.
It was like 10 or 11 years ago. So we're still like playing music together, which is cool.
Yeah. And I don't know if we said it yet. It's called Ghost Horse.
Yeah. We're calling it Ghost Horse because I couldn't think of anything better. But it has a cute ring to it.
It's very central Pennsylvania-y.
Yeah.
Right? There's lots of ghost tours out that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can go to fucking, what is it? The Boobies Brewery.
Oh, I played there.
That place actually probably is haunted.
It is haunted. They do ghost tours there.
That was the last place I played before the pandemic. We played the night before. We had the Build Your Immunity Ball, which was when everything was like, we're like, oh shit, this is really bad. All right. And we had a show, Babel Map did on March 13th. And then I played Boobs on Boobies.
I don't know what it's called.
I actually think it is.
I call it Boobies.
I think
hopefully it's Boobies. So Boobies Brewery,
yeah.
I played there on the 14th of March, and I was talking to the guy. I was like, I heard there's catacombs here. I want to play down in those. And he was like, yeah, we can totally do that, but I don't think that's going to happen for a while.
When I was there, I went on the ghost tour, and they took you down into the catacombs and all of that shit, and like up through like the rest of that building. It's like this crazy like dance halls and all sorts of like weird stuff.
It's
with like
beautiful.
This old decor. It looks like it hasn't been touched in decades. A very uncomfortable building.
Yeah.
But cool. But yeah, our host, the tour guide was real weird. And there was also some people that were on the tour that were like, you could tell they were like really into it. And they kept on like chiming in and adding facts. It's like, why are you even on this tour? You should be hosting it. They just couldn't like, shut up. I'm trying to learn. I don't want to hear about it from you.
I did.
Susan.
It's definitely haunted.
They do stuff like that. I was at this tour in Gettysburg, the walking tour of Gettysburg, and that was so campy. It was like, I wish the dude who did the tour was in a movie. I would have watched it for sure. He was great. Showed us Abraham Lincoln's shadow on the side of a building. This like brick formation creates Abe Lincoln's face on the side of a building at night.
Gnarly.
When the lights hit it. So yeah, saw Abe Lincoln's ghost, basically. That's what I'm trying to say.
There was a really sick advertisement that Netflix did for the Dracula series, where it was like a billboard with all of these stakes, just like a white billboard, and all of these stakes through it with like blood drips. But there was a light, and at nighttime, all of the stakes create like a side silhouette of Dracula. The way they're placed, it's like really cool, like
that's
marketing
really cool
stuff.
I'm into that.
Yeah, super gnarly.
Was it recent?
Artists.
It was recent, yeah.
Was it? I think I might have watched that. Was it just called Dracula?
I could pull it up. Oh, look, you're upside down over here.
Whoa.
Because that camera's upside down and I never fixed this.
That is sick.
We're in the upside down.
We're going to transform, rotate 180 degrees.
There we are.
Here we go.
Look at us.
Okay.
Right side up.
So I'm just going to look it up right now.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the end of the convo anyway. So
I'm pretty sure I watched it. Was it like the one where it goes to like modern times?
Yeah.
Where it starts out.
Oh, it was the BBC Dracula, not the.
Did I watch
So there was the Netflix series, but I guess there was also a BBC one.
Oh, maybe it's a different one.
Okay, yeah. So that was it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you see, that's it during the day, and then at night.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and they had the light like right there.
That's brilliant.
How they do it?
Super sick.
How they do
light is amazing. Like light, like through doing photography and video work, it's amazing what you can do with a couple cheap lights.
It's so cool.
That's brilliant.
So super cool.
Wow.
So, Mike and Steph, it's been great. And I'm not kicking you out of my house by any means, but I am going to stop recording because it's been over an hour. And how long do we expect people to really engage with this conversation?
That's cool. I have to pee. So.
Oh, you could have peed at any time.
I have to pee too. So perfect timing.
I'm chill. I was just just talking.
You are one of the most low-key people that I've probably ever had on the show.
Me?
Yeah, you're so chill.
Really?
It's zen almost.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
So she's zen and she
Is it the
rips on
sunglasses?
guitar.
No, it's just, you just kind of just hanging out in the pocket, and then you decide to say something, and it's very eloquent and well thought out.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then you're just
fucking
back to
running my
chilling.
mouth.
It was a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
fun
I'm over
talking.
here stumbling
Yeah.
over my words. I can't say instrumentalist right, or whatever word it was earlier.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I
I
know.
did. Yeah, we're good.
All
I had a
right,
great
so,
time chatting with you. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop down into the links to listen to one of the 35 projects.
Yes. Yeah. Can I go over
Absolutely.
what
Absolutely.
I was supposed to talk about? Instead, I talked about how much we don't like Bob Dylan. No, that didn't happen. It was a small portion of the conversation, but Northern Gloom has a new album out on the internet. It'll be available on the 26th of August because we signed a record deal and they said that was their next available date for a release. So that is available though if you hit us up on the
Album art
internet.
is
Hit
so
us up
good.
on Instagram. That's our new record. Babel Map has a new record coming out. We don't even have a name for it yet, but it's 9 songs, probably like an hour of music.
Yeah.
It's pretty epic, witchy, very witchy record.
It was our COVID album.
Yeah, it's dark, but I got another band called Versus Machine that has a record coming out. That's if you like bands like Shiner or Hum, you might dig Versus Machine.
They're really good.
Then of course we have Ghost Horse with us and our buddy Jordan.
Mhm.
I play in a band called Muck House with my sister. It's cover and originals. And then what? I'm forgetting a band.
Are you?
I think was that 6.
I think that's 6.
I
No,
lost count.
Gowned.
Yeah, Gowned.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, this band, we just did our first show. It's like a melodic metal band, which if you ever come to Harrisburg, hit me up and we
love to.
can play a show
great.
together with
Yeah.
this band. It's me and like my best friend on the planet. We've been trying to get a band together for years, but it's so hard to find a good metal drummer. So finally our buddy Dirt, that's his real name is Dirt. Him and Jesse, who's my best friend, his brother Keith play in that band. Keith is also the sound guy for Polyphia, if you like
crazy.
Polyphia,
Mhm.
which we're going to see them this week. But yeah, it's like a melodic metal band. There'll be stuff coming out for that too. So all the things, all the
Awesome.
bands. I'm going to join your band too,
Okay.
and your band, and your band. I will join them all.
I would like to check out your stuff too.
Yeah.
You listed
Yeah.
off like 5. Was
Yeah.
it, did you say 4?
4,
Right?
yeah.
I knew
4, yeah.
the
and
Yeah.
and plenty of cool things that are defunct that happened in my past as well.
yeah.
And we didn't even get into we not even going to bother with that. I'm sure there's plenty of defunct skeletons.
Oh no,
for you
we
as well.
don't. We don't need to get into that. Baby, I've said baby brains as far enough.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I'm excited to check out all of that stuff. That's a whole lot. I'll dive in, and then hey, come
keep in
play some
touch.
shows. If you come down here, get you on something cool.
Definitely.
Not that
Vice
you probably
versa.
have a hard time finding shows here, but help you
Well,
out.
we have a studio in Lancaster too. Like Northern Gloom has a studio there. It's a performance venue, studio spaces. So love to have you if you ever come through town.
Hell yeah,
Hit us up.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, that was a podcast. That's the end. Nothing else
That's
to
it.
say.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having
that's
us.
it.
You're super welcome. Thank
Cheers.
you all.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Woo. To cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elvis juice.
Peace out, world. Have a good night.